Welcome to Swag Talks. I am Krishnashree and my team member V Bhavya. We are from Cybersecurity Department. Our topic is about system calls. We made this PPT under the guidance of Dr. M. Prasad Sir, Associate Professor, Department of CSC.
First of all, what is system call? A system call is a method for a computer program to request a service from the kernel of the operating system on which it is running. A system call is method of interacting with the operating system via programs. A system call is a request from the computer software to an operating system's kernel. Coming to API, the application program interface contains the operating system's functions to user programs. It acts as a link between operating system and a process, allowing user levels program to request operating system services. The kernel system can only be accessed using system calls. System calls are required for any programs that use resources. How are system calls made? When a computer software needs to access the operating system's kernel, it makes a system call. The system call uses an API to expose the operating system services to user programs. It is only the method to access the kernel system. All programs or processes that require resources for execution must use system calls, as they serve as the interface between the operating system and user programs. System call works. The application runs in an area of memory known as user space. A system call connects to the operating system's kernel, which executes the kernel space. When an application creates a system call, it must first obtain permission from the kernel. To achieve this, using an interrupt request, which pauses the current process and transforms control to the kernel. If the request is permitted, the kernel performs the requested action, like creating or deleting a file. As input, the application receives the kernel output. The application resumes the procedure after the input is received. When the operation is finished, the kernel returns the result to the application and then moves data from kernel space to the user space. A simple system call may take few nanoseconds to provide the result, like retrieving the system data and time. A more complicated system call, such as connected to a network device, may take a few seconds. Most operating systems launch a distinct kernel thread for each system call to avoid bottlenecks. Modern operating systems are multi-threaded, which means they can handle various system calls at the same time. Coming to the type of system calls, there are mainly 5 types of system calls. Firstly, process control, file management, device management, information maintenance, and communication. Process control. Process control is a system call that is used to direct the processes. Some process control examples including creating, loading, abort, end, execute, process, terminate the processes. File management. File management is a system call that is used to handle the files. Some file management examples including creating files, deleting files, opening, closing, and read and write, etc. Device management. Device management is a system call that is used to deal with devices. Some examples of devices management including read device, write, get device attributes, release device, etc. Information maintenance. Information maintenance is a system call that is used to maintain information. There are some examples of information maintenance including getting system data, set time and data, get time or data, set system data, etc. Communication. Communication is a system call that is used for communication. There are some examples of communication including create, delete, connect, send and receive message, etc.
Let us see about some methods in system calls. Open. The open method in system call allows you to access a file on a file system. A program initializes access to a file in a file system using the open system call. It allocates resources to the file and provides a handle that the process may refer to. Many processes can open a file at once or by a single process only. It's all based on the file system and the file structure. The next method is read. Read method is used to obtain data from a file on the file system. A program that needs to access data from a file stored in a file system uses the read system call. The file is identified by a file descriptor that is normally obtained from a previous call to open. It accepts three arguments in general: a file descriptor, a buffer to store and read data, the number of bytes to read from the file. The file descriptor of the file is used to read, could be used to identify it, and open it by using open before reading. Wait method. In some systems, a process may have to wait for another process to complete its execution before proceeding. When a parent process makes a child process, the parent process execution is suspended until the child process is finished. In this type process that have a parent-child relationship, it makes a parent process stops its execution till the termination of the child process. The wait system call is used to suspend the parent process. Once the child process has completed its execution, control is returned to the parent process. Write method. It is used to write data from a user buffer to a device like a file. This system call is one way for a program to generate data. It takes three arguments in general: a file descriptor, a pointer to the buffer in which data is saved, the number of bytes to be written from the buffer. Fork method. It is a process that generates clones of themselves using the fork system call. It is one of the most common ways to create processes in operating system. When a parent process spans a child process, execution of the parent process is interrupted until the child process completes. The fork system call is used to create processes. It takes number of arguments and returns a process ID. The purpose of fork is to create a new process which becomes the child process of the caller. It is an operation whereby a process creates a copy of itself. Once the child process has completed its execution, control is returned to the parent process. Now let us see about close method. It is used to end file system access. When the system call is invoked, it signifies that the program no longer requires the file and the buffers are flushed. The file information is altered and the file resources are deallocated as a result. Execution method. When an executable file replaces an earlier executable file in an already executing process, this system function is invoked. As a new process is not built, the old process identification stays, but the new process replaces data, stack, data head, etc. Exit method. The exit is a system call that is used to end program execution. This call indicates that the thread execution is complete, which is especially useful in multi-threaded environments. The operating system reclaims resources spent by the process following the use of exit system function. This is presented by Krishnashree and Bhavya. Thank you.